Okay. Good afternoon. Is everybody back from the break? Yeah, Mick, VNR VJIT, VR Siddhartha. Other colleges, Aryabhatta, High Tech, kids. Mick. Kids, can you hear me? Good afternoon, Bapatla. Can everybody hear me? Krishna Chaitanya, can you hear me? Krishna? Kids, can you hear me? Okay, let us start the next session. Okay, I think I need to stop for 2 minutes. Somebody is requesting me to wait for 2 more minutes. So, okay. So, next session is about arrays and how do we implement them using a Raptor. So, please let me know if I'm not audible to anybody. Okay. The learning objectives for this session are, you should, by the end of this session, you should be able to create and display arrays. We will look at how to create and display single dimensional and double dimensional arrays in this session. And we will also perform some simple and complex computations on the elements of the array, and we'll make you do some more because this is a hands-on workshop. We will also able to do extend array sizes dynamically. Okay. The prerequisites for this session are, you should have basic knowledge of control statements in Raptor, because we have seen the selection statements and loops and nested loops in the previous sessions. So that much knowledge is enough to go further and do arrays. Okay. So let us consider a small example. Why do we have to have arrays first of all? Right? We have seen variables, right? They are storing a single piece of information. We are happy with that, right? And we were able to do some computations using those variables. Okay. So let us take a small example. Okay. If a person is being paid twice a month, to find his total income, what do we do? Let me show you a small Raptor program for this. Okay. So I just know that his salary is fixed. Salary one is 20,000 and salary 2 is 22,000. So I have kind of hard coded it in the Raptor program, and I'm just printing out the total monthly income as salary 1 plus salary 2. You don't have to have another variable in fact, because this is pretty simple. So I can print output directly, and I can have an expression here. Okay. So If I run this program, it tells me that the total monthly income of this person is 42,000, right? Pretty simple, right? Okay. Let me take you to another situation. Okay. What if his wife buys 5 sarees in a month and I want to find total expenditure on sarees? Okay. So this is the price of each saree here, right? First saree is 1000 rupees and 1520, 1100, 2000, 1500. Okay. So for this situation, again I'll go back and show you the Raptor program that has been created. Okay. So this is the Raptor program that has been created for this purpose. Okay. So we are asking, because this is not fixed, right? So we are asking the user to enter the price for each saree, right? Because this is 5 sarees, I have used 5 variables for each of those sarees, and I am summing up all the price to have a total expenditure. So if I run this program, it will print me the total expenditure on sarees. Okay. Okay, let us look at the number of symbols used here. For each price, I have one variable, right? So I'm using one symbol for each variable. So I'm using 5 symbols, right? Just look at the size here. Okay. Let us go back to our PowerPoint. Okay. So this is in 1 month, because she is buying 5 sarees, we have written a program nicely and we are finding the expenditure. Fine. Okay. What if in the next month she buys only 3 sarees? This is good to hear, but still to find total expenditure, you'll have to go back to your program and modify it, right? What we can do, minimally what we can do, for 2 sarees, you can give just 0 as price, so that you just enter price for 3 sarees and it will find the total expenditure on sarees. But in the next month again, if she decides to buy 6 sarees, then what do I have to do? Again I have to go back to my program and make modifications. So let us see what all we need to modify. Okay, here because it is 6 now, I'll have to add another variable here for 6th saree, and again in the output expression I'll have to put S6 here. So I'll have to make 2 modifications basically. But what if this changes? What if this changes every month? Please excuse me, I'll have to adjust my camera. Good. So each month with the change of number of sarees, you'll have to modify your program. So again and again, right? So, and with the number increasing, you'll have to add so many symbols here. So there are two disadvantages here, right? So you'll have to add so many number of symbols each and every time, and that is like tremendous increment in the number of symbols in the program, and also in future maintaining the program will become little difficult with the number of items or with the number of variables increasing, right? And what if some other month she decides to buy cosmetics as well, and the person wants to have a separate track of expenditure on sarees and also expenditure on cosmetics separately, right? So these two are two different items, right? So this kind of scenario, the program becomes totally unmanageable, right? So what do we do in this kind of situation, right? So is there any better way of doing this instead of having so many variables and making changes every time? So these kind of real world situations, they are the motivating factors for the arrays concept. Okay. I hope this is clear. What is an array? Array is collection of identical data. So similar kind of data, you can group them together and put it in an array data structure. Okay. So arrays can be multidimensional as well. So we'll take a look at double dimensional arrays in the next slides. So arrays can be multidimensional, and two-dimensional arrays pretty much you might have seen in your math in first year, or maybe the students of engineering colleges, they might have seen it in the first year. And I don't have to say this to the lecturers because they know matrices well. So this two-dimensional array looks like a matrix in your math. So two-dimensional arrays are arranged in rows and columns. Okay. So this is the structure. This is how it looks like. So the structure of a one-dimensional array looks this. You have all the array elements here this way, and two-dimensional array is going to look like this. So these are all rows. The horizontal ones are rows, and these are called columns, right, of the matrix. So this looks like looks like a matrix. Okay. So the basic operations that can be performed are, we can define an array and assign values in Raptor. And let me tell you, each array has a name so that it should be usable, right, later. Like as like a variable has a name, even array has its own name. Okay. And additionally, it has an index. So index is used to reference the array elements. Okay. Let me just show you a small okay, if this is the name of the array, my array name is A and it has like 5 elements. These are my array elements. Okay, and how do I reference to each of these elements separately? If I want the first element of the array, I can reference it this way, A of 1, right? Whenever I say A of 1, it becomes 5. It means 5, right? And A of 2, the second element of the array, A of 2 is 10. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are called indices. I mean, each one is called an index, array index. Okay. So we can define an array and assign values using Raptor, and we can display array values. Also, we can dynamically increase size of an array in the Raptor. So we'll take a look at each of these operations in the next slides. Okay. So let us take an example. So we have to write a program to capture the age of employees into an array, and as of now we don't know how many employees are there. Okay. So where to stop then? So the program should take input as long as age is greater than 0 and print the array when it gets 0 as input. So this is the condition here. So whenever the user enters a 0 as age of the employee, the program should stop and print the array of ages. So let us do this using Raptor. Okay, so let me take a fresh window. Okay, so I need to take input from the user until the age is 0, right? So I need to have a loop here, and loop has to stop when condition. Okay, before I put condition. Okay, first I need to take input, then only I'll be able to check it against 0, right? So I'll have an input statement added here. So here I'll say enter age of the employee and I'll say okay. I have a problem here because I'll show you. I'm using I without declaring it. So actually, okay, I forgot to tell you one thing. In Raptor, the array index starts from 1. Okay, we don't have array of 0. So everything starts from 1. Okay, so I'll have to assign this index to 1. So I'm assigning this to, let me call it index to 1 here. And now I can reference this. Enter age of the employee plus index. I'll show you why I'm doing this. Okay. And I'm storing this into my array name here is age underscore array, and whenever I read a value from the user, one age from the user, where I'm storing it, age array of index, right now in the beginning index is equals to 1, so whenever I read the first age, I am storing it in age underscore array of 1. Okay. Okay, all right. So I'm reading the user input and I'm checking this against 0 because that is the condition that we have to check. So as age array of index is 0, then yes means I'll have to quit the program. Otherwise, I should go back and ask the user to input another age. Okay, and to ask the user another employee's age, I need to increment the index. Otherwise, if index, because index is set to 1, every time if you do this, I have seen some of students doing this mistake most of the times. They forget to increment this loop index. If we don't increment this loop index, right, I'll just show you what happens. Enter age of, okay, why did I use this way here, plus index? Because I wanted to show the user, I'm actually prompting a meaningful message to the user. Enter age of the employee 1, right? So it increments along with index. Okay, if I am entering the age as 25, okay, then again it asks for age of employee 1, I have to give 30. Again it asks for age of employee 1, and there is no exiting condition here. Always, okay, until I give 0, it keeps on asking me. But where are we storing it? Because we are not incrementing this index, we are not storing the rest of the employee ages anywhere else. Okay, so what I wanted to make sure here is I want to increment the index so that it goes back and asks another age, index plus 1. Okay, Now if I run this program, it asks for age of employee. So I'm giving 25. Array index has become 2, and now it is asking for age of second employee. Next is ask age of third employee. Suppose I have 3 employees, and if I am done, I have only 3 employees, right? Then I'll just, for the employee age 4, I'll just print 0. Then my program stops. So this is what it is asking for. Now we need to display these values, right? Okay, how do we do that? We'll have another loop here for displaying array. Okay. So here, okay, what do we need to here is, we'll have index set to 1, we take a variable set to 1, and when should it end displaying the array? As soon as I becomes greater than, okay, we have a inbuilt function here called length of I. Okay, if you have an array defined earlier, and if you use this function length of, and you pass on array name here, then it will give you directly the length of the array. So I am using that function here, length of, and what is the array here? Age. Please look at the help here. So even if you forget your array name, it just gives you the help here. Okay. Okay, I just have a small thing to say here, but I'll come back later. Okay, so because I'm going to display the values until I reach end of the array. That is why once I becomes greater than length of age array, then I stop printing. What happened? Okay. Okay. And here I increment I set I plus 1. So I start with I equals to 1 and loop through until I reach end of age array. What do I do here? I print the value stored in, okay, I'll print it with an appropriate message. Age of employee is please look at the output statement here. I can actually concatenate things. So here in the double quotes, whatever is there, I want to print it to the console. So age of the employee, and I want to print the employee number as well. So I'm ending my double quotes here and adding plus I. Okay, and I'll have to add another plus here. Okay, so here it gives me the number, and I'm concatenating this with is, and then I'm printing age. Okay, so let me run this program and see what happens. Okay, age of employee 1 is 25, age of employee 2 is 30, age of employee 3 is 35, and age of employee 4 is 0. For example, I have given C. Here it is printing age of employee 1 is 25, age of employee 2 is 30, age of employee 3 is 35, and because I have entered age of employee 4 as 0, it is even printing that. But I don't want this, right? I'm just using this as a condition to exit, taking input from the user. I don't want to print that. So I'll have to slightly modify this program, right? instead of printing, no, instead of looping around until length of age array, I loop around until length of age array minus 1. So let me run this program once again. Give 25, 30, 35 and 0. Now it is printing only age of employee 1, 2 and 3. Alright. So let me quickly go through. So I am actually taking input from the user, right, about employee age. I am first taking the user input here and checking if it is 0. If it is not 0, I am again back and asking for another employee's age, right, until the user enters 0. Once the user enters 0, I come out of this loop and I am done storing ages into the array. So my age array is being defined and I have stored whatever values have been given by the user. Now I go back and print the whatever is stored in the loop. So for this purpose, I am displaying, see, this is the display part, okay. I am taking the index, I am starting with 1 because I want to print from first element to the last element of the array. I am starting with 1 and then looping around until I reach length of age array minus. In this, because I have only 3 employees, right, and I am actually entering a 0 for 4th employee's age, my length of array here is 4, right? Okay. So here it checks if I is greater than 4, then it comes out and ends the program. Otherwise, it goes here into this path and prints out the age. So I showed you here why we are using length of age array minus 1, because I don't want to print age of employee as 0, because that was my condition to be used for taking user input. I think this program is clear. So this is how we take input from the user and this is how we display the output. Is this clear? If not, please tell me in the chat window. Okay, so, okay, here what we are doing, we are actually, because we don't know of elements in the array, we are actually depending on user to input 0 as one element and checking against. But if we know the number of, if we already know the number of elements in your array, what we can do here, instead of doing this, we can actually have an assignment statement here and say size. If I know I have only 5 employees, I can just say size as 5. And instead of doing this here, age array index is 0, instead of check it against size. So until if, okay, I'll start with index 1 and what I would do is, if index is greater than, okay, okay, I don't even need to have okay, if I know, if I know already I have only 5 employees, I don't even need to have a variable here. So what I would do here is, I check, I loop through until index is less than 5. Once it becomes greater than 5, it comes out of this loop. And what I would do, I would just move this to inside because I don't have to check here. So I just start with index 1, and because index is 1, I ask the user to enter age of the employee and store it in age underscore array of 1 because my index is 1 here. Time index becomes 2. And we go back in the loop and if index is greater than 5, no. So I come here again this and ask the user for input. This way, until index is 5, I am going to take input from the user. Once index becomes 6, I come out of this loop, and here what I am going to do, I'll just check. I don't even need to use this function. Once, same thing, I mean whatever condition I am using in the taking input, I can use the same thing. Okay. I start with I equals to 1, and then until I is greater than or equal, less than or equal to 5, I output I display the values. Once it becomes greater than 5, I come out of this loop. Check this program as well. Okay, so I have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. See, it asks that number here, so that in future if my employee number increases, I don't have to go and change this part here, this here and here, right? So if you hard code, there are many chances that you might miss to change it at another place. Maybe you change it here and you might not change it here. So it becomes difficult to manage the code, right? So what I would do in this case is, I'll have a variable called size. Oh no, okay, what I would do here is, I take input from the user. I just remove this variable. I take user input as enter size of the array, or enter number of employees. Enter number of employees. So this makes more meaningful, right? This yeah. So num underscore. Okay. So I have this. Okay. So here, instead of hard coding this, what I'm going to do is, instead of 5, I would say num underscore. At the same time, I need to modify even a displaying part. Instead of 5, I would say temp. Okay. So here, the advantage here is, I don't have to, anytime the number of employees increases, I don't have to go to the program, change it. Okay. Just use it as it is. For example, if my number of employees is 4, right? So it asks exactly 4 times for the ages 10, 15, 20, 25, and it prints all 4 employees' ages. So this is perfect, right? You don't have to go back and change your program at any point of time. So this is how arrays are useful, even easily maintainable. And see, look at the number of symbols. You don't have, it doesn't increase. You don't have to change the program, and you don't have the number of variables. You don't have to increase, because size of the array, you're done. Okay, I hope this is clear to everybody. If not, please send me a message in the chat window. Kids, I'm happy to see you here. I'm happy to see a message from you. Is everything going fine? I know students are attending this workshop from kids. I hope everything is going fine with the students. Are you able to catch up? Thank you so much, kids. Okay, I hope this example is clear for you. Let us move on to another example. So here, actually, in this example, we have seen how to read a single dimensional array and display its values. Let us move on to next program. This is the program to read a 2-dimensional matrix of order 2 by 2 and print the contents of the array. Actually, I have taken a pretty simple task here, just to show, because I've seen most of the things here, reading and displaying two-dimensional array. So I want to show it specifically how to read and display. If you know this, maybe all the operations you can do it on your own. Okay. So let me show you how to do this. So because okay, let me show you something. Um, how a two-dimensional array looks like. I mean, if we arrange it, the columns, these are the columns. First column I have 1 and 3, and in the second column I have 2 and 4. Okay. So for storing these values, earlier we have looked at single dimension x in one variable. Now here rows, right? We need we need actually two variables. Okay. For row index we need one variable, and for column index we need another variable. So I'll start with row index set to 1. Okay. I'm setting row index to 1, and I need to take input from the user, right? And this is the loop. Okay. Oh, desktop sharing. Okay. Okay, sorry, I think I'm not showing this Raptor. So let me show you the Raptor. Okay. Okay. I just started. Okay, let me start it once again. Okay. I just took a new Raptor program and added one assignment statement. I'm setting row index to 1 here, and I'm taking one loop because I have to loop through the row index, right? So what is the size of my rows? 2. So if my row index is greater than 2, I'll just come out of this loop. Okay. So inside this loop I have another loop for column index. So here I am setting my column index let me simplify this. Column index as 1, and the condition here would be if column index is greater than 2, I should come out. Okay, and what happens here? So here I need to take input from the user. So what do I do here? Enter array element. Okay. And then what would I say? I would name this array as my array of. So I need to give two indices here. One is row index and one is column index. Okay. So I have row index comma col index. Right. Okay. Now here, as usual, I should not forget incrementing the column index and in the outer loop I need to increment the row index. Okay. So let us see what happens. Let me run this program. I'm just reading now. Let us display once I check this. Okay. So it is asking me enter array element. Okay. I enter 1. Another element I enter 2. Another element I enter 3. Another element I enter 4. Because it is a 2 by 2 array, it is asking only 4 elements. Okay. What if it is a very big array and I have for each specific element I have some number, okay, but I don't know what I'm entering. See, here it is asking enter array element. I don't know to which element I am entering this value. So let us make this prompting little more meaningful. Okay. So let me stop this, modify this. I need to modify the prompt statement. Enter array element, I would say my array of so for concatenating I need to use plus. Okay. Now let me run this program and see how it shows. See, now it is showing enter array element my array 1 1. Okay, I am entering 10. Array 1 2. I am entering 15. My array 2 1. I am entering 20. My array 2 2. I am entering 25. So it prompts me very properly, right? So actually I have a small typo here. Okay. Okay, now I'm fine with this inputting, right? Now I want to check whether, okay, I have inputted some numbers, but is it being stored properly? Let us check, okay? We need to actually display these values, okay? So for this purpose, we just have to, this is very pretty simple actually, right? We are just reading and displaying and we'll have to just, take the whole loop, the outer loop, just control C, copy and then paste the same thing here. Okay. So instead of typing what I did, I just picked up this loop, the outer loop, which has the inner loop as well, right? And then I'm just doing it one more time here because I have to do the same thing for displaying, right? Just only one change is here. Instead of asking the user to enter the input, you display the output. So only change that happens here is this part. Otherwise, you'll have to loop through the rows, loop through the columns, right? So what I'm going to do, because this is input statement, I'm going to delete this input statement and add an output statement here. Okay. And I'm going to say show my array of row index, comma, column index. Okay. So I'm actually adding this space here so that it makes, more meaningful. So I'm entering, okay, let us take simple values. Enter array element 1 1 as 1, 1 2 as 2, 2 1 as 3, 2 2 as 4. What happened? Index. So we are doing call index. So why is it not displaying? Since when? Oh, just now. Okay. Okay. I think I was not audible. Sorry. So the mistake I made last time was actually I just copied loop here, but because row index, I did not set row index to 1. So initially I set it to 1, and because I looped through this during the input statement, my row index has become 3. And while displaying my array, I started with row index as 3. Okay. So when it entered this loop, because my row index is greater than 3, it directly came out of this loop and did nothing. So for this purpose, what I did, I just initialized row index to 1 again. Okay. So if I am giving these values, okay. So earlier I said one more thing. Let me make that clear. So earlier I had a new line here after each of the output statement. So when I run this that way, give 1, 2, 3, 4 as inputs. So it is printing it this way, right? All the elements in one separate line. Okay, but I see happens. Okay, I give 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it is printing everything again in the same row, but I want it in the form of matrix, right? So what I would do, just before this statement, right, each row has to be printed in one line. What I would do is, I would add another statement with end line. Now if I run this, I give 1 as 1, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now my array is printed in the matrix format. So this is how we read a two-dimensional array and print the values. Let us go through it once again. Because I have two rows and columns here into this two-dimensional array, I need two indices basically. One is for and one is for column. So I started with the row index as 1 and I have a loop for looping through each of the row. And in each row I have different columns. Here I have two columns. So what I have done, I have initialized the column index to 1 and looping through the columns using this inner loop. Okay, and reading the elements of the array. Once I am done, I need to display the elements of the array. So I am again setting the row index to 1 and here column index to 1 and using the same loop and modifying a little bit. Instead of input statement, I have an output statement here and printing the array variables, array elements here. I hope this is clear. Is it clear? Is this example clear? So is it clear? If not, please let me know using chat. Okay, once this is clear, okay. Bapatla, okay. Can you please type a little more information as to what part is not understandable, so that I'll explain it again. Bapatla, can you please type? Yeah. How to go to new line to print second row? Okay, I'll show it once again. See here, if I don't have this statement, okay, and if I run this program, I give these elements 1, 2, 3, 4. I have everything in the same row, right? But what do I need? See, 1, 2, these two are one row and these two are another row. So after each row, I need to have a new line statement, new line, right, to be entered. So after 1 and 2, I need a new line. Meaning after each row, I need a new line. What happens here is in the display and the output display statement. Here I have done all the, see, first I started with row index as 1, okay, and I enter this loop. Since row index is not greater than 2, now I am setting column index to 1 and looping through this loop and actually displaying the first element. See, first time row index is 1 and column index is also 1. Okay. Now we come to this statement and we are pi array of 1, 1. So it prints 1 first. And then we are incrementing column index. So now my column index becomes 2. So I go back here, okay. Since this loop condition, when this condition is not met, we still come to this statement, and now it displays my array of row index is still 1, column index has become 2. So now it prints out my array of 1, 2. That means first row, second column. Now my column index has become 3. Now I go back here, because this condition is satisfied, it comes out of this loop. Now this is what I exactly want, right? Same, the elements of the same row have to be displayed in one row, right? One line. And when I move on to the next row, I need to have a new line character. Okay? I need the second row to be displayed in the next line. So for this purpose, I just put an output statement with just, I don't have anything here, but I do have this end current line checked. Okay? Meaning, whenever this statement is executed, it displays whatever is been here and then ends that line and goes to the next line. Okay, it ends the current line. So for this purpose, I just nothing here and check this box. So now this time, when I run this, okay, as soon as this row, first row is completed, when it goes to the second row, right? See, the first row is completed here. Before incrementing the row index, we have put the new line, right? Now, so that it goes to it enters the next line, and now we are incrementing the row index to 2 and go to this loop and do the same thing with row index 2, right? That is why we put this statement here. Is it clear now? Okay, 3 by 3 matrix. Bapatla, can you please try it? And because we don't have much time, we have to finish before 5 and we have to do some workouts. So, Bapatla is asking for explaining this with a 3 by 3 matrix. You please try this, because I have explained it using 2 by 2 matrix. You please try this, and we can take this offline, and we can get in touch and help you. You please try it on your own first. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Great. So yeah. Do you have a question, Bapatla? Okay. Thank you. So let us move on. We have some workouts. So let us take a look at this. Write a program to read an integer array of size 10 from the user and do the following operations. Now we know how to read the array, basic operations. So display the array in reverse order and display all odd elements of the array, meaning first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, like that. Okay. So these two we have to do. So please take like 20 minutes. Right now it is 4:17 and we take exactly 20 minutes, 4:37. And I'll be sitting here. If you have any questions, I'll be able to help you.